Hi, this is Bridget from the east side again. Well, you've learned how to cast on your stitches using the long tail cast on method. Now you're ready to learn how to knit. So the two basic knit stitches I'm going to teach you are the knit stitch and the purl stitch. So let's get started with the knit stitch. With your tail here off to the left, your working yarn to the back and the right here, you're going to take the needle without stitches and you're going to put it into the first stitch on your left needle, forming an X with the needles here. Holding them tightly here, you're going to put your yarn around the back of your right needle. With the tip of your right needle, you're going to pull that yarn through between, what you're doing is pulling it between the first two stitches here. So again, yarn around the back, pull it through so that your needle is between the two stitches on your needle here, and then you're going to slip that first stitch off the left needle. So again, we're going to take our right needle and we're going to put it into the first stitch on your left needle, forming that X. Take your working yarn around the back of the right needle. The tip of the right needle will push that yarn through, and then you're going to drop that stitch off the left needle. So go into the first stitch on the left needle, forming your X, around the right, pull it through, and drop the stitch off your left needle. Into the stitch. Oops. So what you're doing is you're going to go across and knit all of the stitches that are on your left needle and get them onto your right needle. So I'll slow it down here again. Going to go into the first stitch to make that X around the back with that right needle tip, pushing the yarn through, drop the stitch off your left needle. And I'm an English knitter, so I hold the working yarn with my right hand. And when I go in, I flip it over like this here. A continental knitter holds the working yarn in their left hand. There's plenty of videos out there if you want to learn how to continental knit. I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to show you how awful I am at it. So now if you notice, when we're finished knitting the stitches on our needle, okay, if you turn them to the back to get ready to knit again, you'll see that the back of the knit stitches each have a little bump, okay? So the back of a knit stitch is a purl, okay? So we're going to purl now. And when I purl this next stitch, you're going to see it's going to make another bump on this side. And on the back of the purl stitch will be a knit. So it's knit over here and purl over here. So the back of a purl stitch is a knit and the back of a knit stitch is a purl. They're just the opposite. So this time with my tail off to the side here and my working yarn toward me this time instead of in the back like when we knit, toward me, I'm going to take my right needle, and instead of going in to the left, I'm going in from the right. And instead of pushing it to the back, I'm pushing it to the front, but I'm still making that X. Now with the yarn in front, I need to go through the V like this and around to the left. And then this, my right needle tip again, is going to push the yarn through like it did with knitting, but it's going to pull it through to the back. And again, I'm going to drop the stitch off the left needle. So instead of knitting through the left side, we're going to go in to the right, out to the front, through the V, off to the left, poking that through to the back, pulling it off the stitch. So a knit stitch is pretty much a purl stitch in reverse. And a purl stitch is a knit stitch in reverse. So now we're forming bumps on this side and no bumps on this side. So again, we're going to go in from the right side, forming that V, go between the V and around to the left. Poke that yarn through, take the stitch off the left needle. So this is your purl stitch. And again, you're going to want to purl across till all of the stitches on your needle have been worked so that they're on to the right needle. Then I'm going to quickly show you how you would follow a pattern if it calls for a few knit stitches in one row and a few purl stitches in one row. So if your pattern says right now to K5, that means you would knit the first 5 stitches going in from the left. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if you are supposed to purl 3 stitches, you're going to need to bring your yarn from the back to the front, and then you're going to go into the stitch from the right hand side, forming your V, go between the V off to the left, and you're going to purl 3, 2, and 3. And then if it said knit the last 5, you're going to bring your yarn to the back again, going into that stitch, and you're going to knit the last 5. So it would be K5, P3, K5. That's how you would understand the knit and purl stitches in a pattern. And so there you've learned your basic knit stitch and your basic purl stitch. It's time to practice and get the hang of them, feel really comfortable with your casting on, your knits and your purls, and then you're ready for something more challenging. And you need to learn how to bind off when you're finished your project. So that will be my next lesson, how to bind off.